Is Nine Souls worth the hype, or just another frustratingly tough game? Let's find out if it delivers on its promise. At its core, Nine Souls is a 2D action platformer, Metroidvania game where you slowly unlock new abilities and explore new areas as you go. The game focuses heavily on combat, and let me tell you, it's intense. Think of Sekiro or other action games where precision and skill are key. You can't just rely on dodging. To survive, you need to master parrying. This is where the game gets tough. If you're not great at timing your parries, you're going to die a lot. Combat is fast-paced and requires you to learn enemy patterns. Each enemy has specific moves, and you need to figure out how to counter them. There's also a big focus on learning how to use your moves effectively in battle, as mistakes can easily lead to death, and it doesn't get easier. Boss fights are some of the toughest, with multiple stages that force you to change up your strategy each time. If you're looking for a challenge, Nine Souls delivers in spades. What makes the combat even more exciting is how every upgrade you earn ties directly into combat. As you level up, you get more tools to defeat enemies, and each new ability opens up different ways to approach fights. It's all about finding the right rhythm, and even when you fail, you can always come back stronger. In addition to combat, Nine Souls has some platforming elements, though they aren't as prominent as in other games. As you progress, you unlock new abilities that make platforming more fun. For example, you get the ability to double jump, wall run, and dash through the air, all of which are handy for navigating tricky sections of the map. The world is designed around these abilities, so you'll often need to use your new moves to reach hard to get to places or avoid traps. However, the platforming challenges are not as deep or complex as the combat. The platforming is a nice touch, but it's the combat that steals the show. If you're hoping for intricate platforming puzzles, Nine Souls may not satisfy that craving. But if you enjoy using your skills in combat, it's a solid addition. The graphics in Nine Souls are absolutely stunning. The game's art is hand-drawn, and the design is heavily inspired by Chinese culture. The environments, enemies, and characters all look amazing and reflect a lot of care in their design. Whether you're exploring ancient ruins or fighting a giant boss, the visuals are breathtaking. Each area feels unique, and the world is filled with small details that make it feel alive. The animations are smooth, and each character and enemy has its own set of movements that match the overall aesthetic. It's clear that a lot of work went into the game's visuals, and it pays off in creating a rich, atmospheric experience. The soundtrack is where things might get a bit tricky for some players. The music in Nine Souls is atmospheric and uses a lot of Eastern tonalities, which might be unfamiliar to many Western players. For those who are new to Chinese music or Eastern styles, it might sound a bit jarring. However, the soundtrack fits the game perfectly. It sets the tone for each area and boss fight, creating an immersive experience. While the soundtrack does its job of adding to the atmosphere, it might not be as memorable as some other game scores. It's not the kind of music you'll find yourself humming later, but it's effective for setting the right mood while you play. The world of Nine Souls is rich in Chinese culture, from the architecture to the landscapes to the names of characters and locations. It's a setting that feels deep and immersive, even if some of the references may go over the heads of players who are unfamiliar with Chinese mythology or history. The game takes place in a world where humans and gods have clashed, and the player, Yi, is on a quest for vengeance after being betrayed by his own people. The design of the world is fantastic. Every area you visit feels different from the last, with varied environments that give the game a lot of visual depth. There are ancient temples, dark forests, and mystical landscapes that all contribute to the game's overall atmosphere. As you explore, you'll uncover hidden secrets, meet NPCs with their own stories, and slowly piece together the world's lore. One of the most exciting aspects of Nine Souls is how it encourages you to explore. The world is vast, and as you get stronger, you unlock new areas that were previously out of reach. It's a world that rewards curiosity, and there's a real sense of accomplishment when you find hidden upgrades or secrets. The story in Nine Souls is one of betrayal, vengeance, and redemption. You play as Yi, a character who has been left for dead by his own people, only to rise up and seek revenge. As you progress, you uncover more about Yi's past and the relationships he has with other characters, many of whom help or hinder him on his journey. The narrative in Nine Souls is rich and full of twists and turns. It's not just about revenge, It's about Yi's emotional growth as he forms bonds with unlikely allies. The game slowly peels back the layers of Yi's past, revealing a deeper, more complex story than you might expect. It's a game that knows how to build tension and emotional weight as you go, making the eventual payoff all the more satisfying. While the story is gripping, it's also one that benefits from exploration. The game's world building and character interactions reveal pieces of the story organically, and the more you explore, the more you learn about the world and its characters. It's a story that doesn't just tell you everything up front, it lets you discover its secrets at your own pace. Nine Souls is a challenging and visually stunning game that stands out for its deep combat mechanics, rich world building, and emotionally driven narrative. While it may not appeal to everyone, especially those who aren't fans of tough, Sekiro-style combat, or Eastern-inspired music, it offers a unique experience that is well worth the effort. If you're a fan of action platformers and Metroidvania games, Nine Souls is definitely worth checking out. The world, combat, and story come together in a way that makes it one of the most memorable games you'll play this year. If you're curious about unique strategy game, then dive into Diplomacy is not an option. Check out the full review by clicking the link. I go into all the details you won't want to miss, so don't forget to give it a watch.